Visit Hellsberg.com for safe and easy ways to shop this holiday, like free shipping and returns, virtual shopping appointments, or buy online and pick up in store. And right now, get a free Microsoft Surface Go 2 with the purchase of $1,499 or more. You gift, you get. Limited time offer while supplies last. See online or in store for details.
Hey, which glasses look better on me?
Oh, what's this?
Zenny's 3D virtual try-on. Pretty cool, right?
I don't know about the purple cat eyes.
I think they're fun. What about these tortoiseshell glasses? Or these rimless sunglasses? Oh, what about these clear frames?
Wait, are those prices real? Do they have glasses for men?
Yep. They also have affordable blue light glasses.
Seriously? At those prices? Get them all.
I like where this is going.
Zenni.com. Quality prescription glasses starting at $6.95.
The following is a Hoop Ball presentation.
Good morning, Hoop Ballers, and welcome to another edition of Hoop Ball DFS Today. I am your host, Santino Caccone, and I am here joined with none other than Brian Foster. And Brian, this is a special day, man. This is the opening night for DFS, for NBA, for the 2020-2021 season. I am beyond excited, and I'm more excited that it's me and you starting this off. How you doing tonight, buddy?
Oh man, I'm doing wonderful, and you said it right, man. I know the official Christmas is Friday, but we get a little Christmas today, man, as the NBA starts up again. Super excited. Big night on DraftKings. Got 4 great teams. Should be a fun night.
All right, and normally the Christmas games are where we get pumped, and we will be getting pumped on the Christmas games. But yeah, you're right. A couple days before Christmas, we have opening night, which is I can't remember the last time this happened, if it ever happened like this. But this is going to be crazy. A couple exciting nights, and then after tonight, the next day on Wednesday, everybody plays that besides these 4 teams. So right back into the thick of things. It's going to be exciting. And for one of these teams, the Warriors especially, we haven't seen them in what feels like forever.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of these guys, man, too, in that first game, man, when you talk about Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, so, yeah, and the Warriors, like you said, didn't go in the bubble, so haven't seen those guys in forever. So exciting to see Steph and all these guys get back on the floor.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one, man. And I can't wait to get into this with you. But before we do, I do want to shout out one of our presenting sponsors, and they are currently doing a 6 days of free giveaways right now from the 21st to all week. And that is MyBookie, guys. If you didn't get into it on the Turkey Day free play, you're going to want to get into it now. They're doing, like as I mentioned, the 6 days of free giveaways. It's awesome. Right now, there is a matching 100% of your deposit or reload, whatever the case is, but they're matching 100% of it as of tonight. Tomorrow, we'll figure out what the next giveaway is and so on and so forth for the rest of the week. But whether you're a first-time customer or have been playing with MyBookie for years, there's no shortage of value to be found in the thousands of game lines, unique prop bets, and contests that they offer every week. Sign up and get reloaded today. Get that doubled, by the way. Find an edge, make your bet, and get paid, everyone. They also boast a fully fledged casino platform giving you access to all the classic table, slot, and card games you'd expect to find at your local spot. And the best part is, at MyBookie, the doors never close. So you can continue to build that bankroll even after the stadium lights have gone out. Make the right play right now and sign up to at MyBookie. When you do, use the promo code HOOPBALL, that's HOOPBALL, to get your deposit matched halfway, all the way up to $1,000. So the terms are simple. If you put in $200, they'll match you with another $100 in your account. And if you were already planning to bet this season, this is free betting money. So it's winning season at MyBookie. Come and join the fun and win some cash while you're at it, guys. I cannot recommend this enough. And I will be collecting all my giveaways, and I will be betting on opening day, on Christmas. I'm excited for basketball. Basketball is my favorite sport to bet on. So this is going to be a fun one for us and whoever else is in the MyBookie family or whoever wants to join it. But let's get right into it, man. Right where what everybody came for. We have the first game on the docket at 7 p.m. Eastern tip-off time. We have the Golden State Warriors versus the Brooklyn Nets. I love that. Every time I go to a Brooklyn game, they never said the Nets. They just say Brooklyn chants all the time.
That's love it.
It was great. But this game is 7 p.m. tip-off. We have the Warriors at 7.5-point underdogs. They're getting 7.5. The over-under is 231.5. They expect this game to be the shootout among the two. And on the Warriors side, we have Draymond Green as out. Alan Smailagic as out. And I put this one in here. James Wiseman, will he start or will he won't? That's going to be the big question leading up to to the lineup blocks and see what's going to happen. I expect him not to play a ton of minutes right out of the gate anyway. He didn't play any of the preseason games. He didn't play any college basketball games either. He did, but barely. So those are the couple big things there. On the Nets side, this is a shock. This was a shocker to me when I first saw it. But as of right now, they have nothing. They have nobody in the injury report. In what seems like forever, the Brooklyn Nets have nobody on the injury report. But let's start with the Warriors and Steph Curry and all the guys over there. How are you feeling about this? Can you play Steph? He is the fourth highest guy on this slate. He's the second highest guard on this slate. But can you look at him? And if you don't look at him, who else do you like on this Warriors team?
You can absolutely look at Steph. Actually, Steph is one of the guys who has my eye. Big time on this slate, man. Steph is 9,300, but you look, we have no Draymond, as you said. We have no Klay Thompson. When we have these guys off the floor, Steph sees a 30% usage rate. Steve Kerr has already talked about this year of getting Steph around 34, 35 minutes. These aren't the 73-9 Warriors that we're looking at here, where we had Steph and Klay and these guys playing three quarters, and you just hoping that they can get your points there within three quarters because they were blowing everybody out. This team is going to have to play, from start to finish, and they're playing one of the best teams in the league here in the net. So I expect Steph to play a bunch of minutes here. 35 minutes. He's going to be, used heavily. If they're going to keep this game close, Steph's going to have 30 plus. So I really, really like him at 9,300. I think he's a great play. He's not going to be this price long, guys. Trust me. DraftKings has him at 9,300 tonight, but he won't be here long. After he starts playing, putting up these monster nights, 9,300 is just too cheap for Steph Curry.
I like it. And yeah, I'm with you there too. I'm going to definitely have my fair share of some Steph Curry here at 9,300. He is the main option on this team. He's going to be firing away. There is no Draymond Green, who's not a shooter anyway, but it's just a couple extra shots that go to Curry's way. If they want to beat the Nets, and this seems like a shootout, it seems like it's going to be an up-tempo type of game. Mm-hmm. Steve Kerr is giving everybody the green light, from Steph Curry all the way to Kevon Looney, all the way to Caleb Wasson. Everybody's getting the green light right now. So I expect Curry to take 20-plus shots at minimum, and that's always some fantasy gold right there. And when you have a Steph Curry shooting the ball, 80% of the time you expect him to just be on fire. I expect him to be on fire. But outside of Curry, man, where are you looking here? Can you go with Wiggins at his higher 7K salary or Oubre at 67? If you can't go with them with all the top tier talent on this slate, which kind of the bigs and what people are you looking at for some value here?
I like both those guys. I like Wiggins. I like Oubre. I think those guys are going to go overlooked. Like you said, we have a lot of studs on this slate. A lot of people are probably going to go stars and scrubs. So if you look at these guys in the mid-range, I think they're going to go overlooked a little bit. And Wiggins, this guy's a major talent, man. There's never been a question of his talent. His heart has been questioned a little bit. How hard he plays has been questioned a little bit. But I think being at this Warriors organization, the spotlight's not on him. He doesn't have to be the guy. I think this is a situation and a spot that he can excel. Like we said, this is going to be a high-scoring, up-pace fast game. It's going to be a lot of points. And Wiggins can score, man. This guy can score, So and again, if the Warriors going to keep it close, they're going to need him to get buckets. So I kind of like Wiggins here at 7,000. Again, it's going to be tough when you got all these studs on the slate, but keep Wiggins on your radar. It could be a good option for you. Oubre as well. I like Oubre, only 6,700. The guy can fill up the stat sheet, does it all, runs the floor well, shoots threes, block shots, rebounds. I imagine he's going to see a lot of Kevin Durant. Nobody's stopping Durant, but I mean, he's one of their best options to keep on the floor. So I expect him to see a lot of minutes to try to at least contain Durant a little bit. So, again, between Steph, Oubre, and Wiggins, these are the guys that are going to see the most shot attempts in this high-paced game. So I like all three of those guys.
Yeah.
If I go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was going to say I'm with you there. I think they're all going to provide some pretty solid value. Getting Wiggins does mean, or Oubre does mean, that you're going to have to pay down for one of these stars out there. But if I had to pick the two, because they are very close in value, I think I'm gonna lean towards Wiggins in this one, just because I think Oubre is a better player, and most nights I will go Oubre. But I think they need Wiggins' scoring punch, especially in this matchup against the Kyrie and Durant and LeVert and Dinwiddie and Harris and this Brooklyn team that is looking to light up the scoreboard. So I think Wiggins is gonna take quite a few more shots here. So that's where I'd be leaning there in the 300. But I think it's pretty close.
Yeah, no, definitely. I agree. If I look at just moving down a little bit here, man, like you said, we're going to need some value. A lot of studs on this slate, a lot of high-priced guys that we're going to want to get in our lineup. So with Draymond out, I'm looking at this Warriors front court, man. You talked about Wiseman, like you said. He's 4,900, but not sure how much he plays, how much is he integrating in the system. They said he's been practicing. But again, how much he's going to play, we just don't know. Looking at Kevon Looney is 5,200. The Nets have a pretty big front court, man. When you talk about DeAndre Jordan, you talk about Jared Allen. Looney's one of their bigger guys, man. So I think he's a solid play at 5,200. But I'm even going down a little bit more. I think I like Marquise Chris at 4,000. He's an explosive guy, exciting guy, energy guy. He can put up fantasy points in a hurry. So I think he's going to see some extended minutes again with no Draymond. And then lastly, you got to look at Eric Pascal. He's only 3,800. I expect he gets the start for Draymond. He is a little bit risky. I think he's got a short leash here. So if he's not playing well, I think Kirk could pull him. But at 3,800, man, you don't need much from him. And I think it'd be a solid play. If he gets on and he's playing well, he could really pay off for you.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think I'm going to lean off of Kevin Looney in this one, or Kevon Looney, just because he's 5,200. And if Wiseman's starting, I'd rather just throw out this rookie and see what he can do right off the bat against a guy who's probably trying to look to beat him up in DeAndre Jordan, especially in his first game. But I think I like Marquise Chris a little bit more in this matchup than Kevon Looney. He's a physical guy too. He's been shooting the ball pretty well, unexpectedly shooting the ball pretty well from deep in this in the preseason. So that's something that you can use against this Nets team if he still has that and he's getting those open shots. That would drag both Jordan and Allen, who don't really want to be too far away from the paint, especially Allen. That will drag him away if he can make a couple of those. So I'm looking his way a little bit more than Looney. And you mentioned Pascal. At 3,800, and he's probably going to get the starting nod. They're kind of just forcing me into playing him. You like you said, he if he's turning the ball over, he's taking bad shots. They can move him. Without Green there's not too many options. Maybe try and put Chris at the 4 and go big. But I mean, at 3,800, they're really just saying, take him, please take him, because that's very cheap for a guy who's probably going to find his way into a starting lineup on this slate with a bunch of stars and scrubs, as you mentioned.
Yeah, it's tough to overlook at 3,800, and with only 2 games on the slate, that's probably some value that's going to be tough to pass up. Typically, I'm looking to get around 300 points, but with only 2 games, you may not need that tomorrow, may not need that tonight, so. 3,800, I think, for Pascal is probably one you gotta definitely heavily consider to have in your lineup.
And when you look at him compared to Looney, Wiseman, even Chris, he's 1,400 less than Looney, 1,100 less than Wiseman. Him and Chris are pretty much the same price tag there, so you'd have to pick one of the two. But that's a big discrepancy for a guy who's probably going to I wouldn't say outplay, but see a lot more floor time because he doesn't have as much competition. I don't know if Looney can't play the 4. I don't think Wiseman can play the 4. Chris might be able to play the 4, but that also might be pushing it. So, yeah, I'm with you on the guys you're saying on this team. Awesome, man. Yeah. All right. Let's go on to the exciting Brooklyn Nets. We waited a year for it. Everyone been waiting for this moment. That's finally here. We have a healthy Kevin Durant. We have a healthy Kyrie Irving. We have nobody hurt on this team. And I don't know if they're still going after James Harden as of this second. So this is what we're going to get in the first game. And where are you liking here? Can you play both Kyrie and Durant, or will you have to pick one?
I think you can play both. I think on this slate, you can probably get 3 stars in. So you're going to have to pick which 3 that you want to go with. We got a lot in this second game that we'll talk about soon, but you can likely, if you want to get 3 stars, you can probably get 3 of these stars in there. And I think Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are guys that you have to consider, man. I mean, these guys have looked unstoppable in the preseason, man. If you look at, I think Friday night they played Boston. I mean, the offense was just clicking. There was nothing that Boston could do to contain them. Durant looks like the old Durant. Kyrie Irving is Kyrie Irving. He's aggressive. He's getting assists, getting steals. This offense, they got D'Antoni sitting over there on the bench with Steve Nash. They're going to play super fast. You got to love both these guys. $8,500, I think, is a very fair price for Kyrie Irving. $98 for Kevin Durant's a little bit expensive, but we know what Kevin Durant can do, and the guy looks 100% healthy. The last time we saw this guy, $9,800 was too cheap for him. So you worry a little bit about, it's only a 7-point spread, but I could see this getting out of hand a little bit. The way the Nets have looked, and maybe they kind of eased Durant in coming off the Achilles, but I don't put anything past this guy. So at $9,800, I'm definitely considering he and Kyrie Irving at $8,500 in this matchup.
Yeah, I'm with you. Kevin Durant, and it's almost as if the NBA planned to have his return game against the Warriors.
Yeah,
it's almost like they made it themselves. No, I'm just kidding. But
right.
It's Kevin Durant, and he looks good. And I've said it all last year. If there's one guy that I'm betting on to come back and not miss a beat off of this devastating injury that not many, if any, basketball players really looked the same afterwards, it was him, because he's one of the best offensive players I've ever seen, best shooters I've ever seen, and he looks like the last time I saw him. Fantastic. And at $9,800, that's not too bad of a price tag to pay. He might be hovering around, like you said, 10-3, 10-5, 10-7 after a couple really good games to show that he's back. But I think for me personally, I'm going to lean more towards Kyrie Irving in this one at the $8,500 price tag. He's a little cheaper and a little more you have a little more leeway there to get in a couple more stars and not have to go too scrubby. And it's also Kyrie Irving. He looks like he wants to be. He's back in the trying mode, and he looks like he's going to start gunning up the shots, and he's going to be guarded against Steph Curry or by Steph Curry for the most part. I like that matchup for him. The $1,300 price tag difference is why I'm leaning more towards Kyrie Irving in this one. And I think there is, for value plays, there's a lot more forward eligible guys that I can find as value. We just mentioned Eric Pascal at $3,800. Then I can find value guys at the guard or point guard position, especially. I think there's a couple more plays that I like there that are forward eligible. So that's why I'd be leaning Kyrie. But yeah, I wouldn't mind having, if I'm making multiple lineups, I wouldn't mind having both of them because they are stars.
Yeah. No, that's a great point about there being a little more value at the forward position. So a lot more guys you can live with playing at the forward spot than you can at the guard spot. So yeah, I like that call with Kyrie over Durant.
And outside of them, are you looking at anybody like a Joe Harris, a Karis LeVert, Jared Allen, Jordan, Dinwiddie? Those are probably the main guys playing. But
Yeah.
can you play any of them, or can you only go with the two big guys here?
Yeah, so LeVert and Dinwiddie are tough for me. They're 6,500 for LeVert, 6,000 for Dinwiddie. We know both these guys can fill it up quick, man. But Brooklyn is so deep. These guys are going to have to take a little bit of a back seat this year. I don't really like their prices right now at 6,000 and 6,500. I do like the fact that they're playing LeVert. Looks like they're going to bring him off the bench, playing with the second unit, let him run the show there, and I think he can be effective and be aggressive. But again, at 6,500, I think it'll be a little tough for him to pay off his value on this team.
I'm with you there.
I do. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, yeah, I like him coming off the bench as well. It gives him more responsibility, more ball handling. But just like you, at 6,500, I got to see how this plays out a few games before I feel comfortable throwing him in there. But he is supremely talented. But right now, I kind of need to see how they all fit together before I can throw him in there confidently.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Similarly, when I look at DeAndre Jordan and Jared Allen, these guys are probably essentially going to split minutes right down the middle. DeAndre Jordan's 5,600, Jared Allen 6,200. If I'm going to pick one, I'll probably go with the cheaper one, Jordan. He's bigger than anybody on the Golden State's front court. The guy's, almost a lock for a double-double most of the times when he sees, 20, 25 plus minutes. So I expect him to be around this game, and I think he can pay off. But again, it's tough when he's splitting minutes with Jared Allen. But if I'm going to go one there, I'd go with DeAndre Jordan. Any thoughts on those guys?
Yeah, so you mentioned Allen, Jordan did when I'd probably go Jordan too, just because he's getting his two buddies back, and now he's going to be more hyped up for this matchup. And I don't know, James Wiseman might not be ready for the physical presence that is DeAndre Jordan in his first professional game. I don't think Looney is as well. There is another center around Jordan's price tag that I'm a little bit more interested. So I won't have too many shares of him, but I do like him a little more than Allen at the $600 price tag. For me, I like the two outside of those two, Durant and Kyrie. There's one guy that I'm in particularly looking at, and that's Joe Harris. I think his game meshes perfect with the Durant and Kyrie, a guy who's been one of the best sharpshooters in the league the past 2 years. He's led, I believe he's the most efficient three-point shooter over the last 2 years. And now you get two big playmakers outside of next to you, and you get two people who are going to be key, or defenses are going to be keying on and seeing a lot of double teams. You pass out to probably a wide open Joe Harris. I really like him in this, and he's only 4,800. He's cheaper than every person we mentioned on this Nets team. So that's where I think I'm going to get a lot of value with the Joe Harris here.
Yeah, 100% agree there. Love Joe Harris at 4,800. Like you said, man, all the attention's going to KD and Kyrie. Joe Harris shooting open threes, man. I'll take that all day long. I believe he's a defending 3-point champ. So, I love this guy shooting open shots. He's an underrated rebounder. Got his payday in the offseason. The guy's coming in. He's ready to play. 4,800 is a little bit too cheap for Joe Harris. So I like him as a nice value for us at 4,800.
Yeah. All right, man. And before we go on to this second game, let me bring in one of our other sponsors, and that is Manscaped. So listen up, fellas, because today we have a new Manscaped product alert. Manscaped just released the Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer. Take a look in the mirror, and I guarantee you'll see hairs sticking out of those holes. It's time to keep your ear and nose hair looking as nice as your clean-shaven pubes. And just let you guys know, they do have two-day free shipping, so you will be able to get this in time for Christmas if you order now. Just a heads up before I tell you a little bit more about this Weed Whacker. But Manscaped is forever changing the grooming game with their Weed Whacker. This is a nose and an ear hair trimmer and provides proprietary skin-safe technology which helps prevent nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate holes. The premium Manscaped Weed Whacker uses a 9,000 RPM motor-powered 360-degree rotary dual-blade system. Its intelligently contoured design enhances the trimming experience, and it is waterproof, which makes for easy operation and cleaning. The only nose hair trimmer on the market with a powerful and rechargeable lithium-ion battery that lasts for up to 90 minutes of use, 1 hour and 30 minutes of use. That's insane. So guys, look, fellas, 79% of your partners polled admitted that long nose hair is a major turnoff. So it's time to upgrade your Manscaped routine with the Weed Whacker. Get 20% off now and free shipping with the code HoopBall20. That's HOOPBALL 20 at manscaped.com. Again, that's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use the promo code HoopBall20, HOOPBALL 20. What are you waiting for? Go whack your weeds now.
Today's episode is brought to you by Clorox. When it counts, trust Clorox the same way we trust essential workers to provide the care they give to us. Families trust Clorox to give them a safe and protected home.
Our community heroes trust Clorox to keep places like hospitals and grocery stores disinfected. So I know I too can trust Clorox to provide my home with a safe environment at home we can all enjoy. So I have a story for you, Amanda. With Clorox, there's one thing I definitely use it for every single time before I step into my vanity van. I love the entire place disinfected because that's where I keep my makeup. That's where I get ready. That's where my clothes are. That's sometimes where I take a nap as well. So, I can use it all over like time of need. So, it's been really, it just keeps everything super clean and I feel super safe.
For me, it's important to share with loved ones and the public in general how they can give the most care for their loved ones, especially during times like these. I mean, with the pandemic going on, with COVID going on, it's just great to be extra sanitary with all the items that are around you, caring for others, and, just wiping down the door handle after you use the bathroom or wiping down
so important.
The toilet,
important.
The toilet handle. Don't forget the toilet handle. So remember, when it counts, trust Clorox.
This year has us all wanting to be healthier, and that includes our eye health. But how do you get vision coverage if you're retiring? It's actually pretty easy. VSP, the vision coverage many people get through work, offers individual vision plans. Enroll anytime, on any device, and start using your benefits the same day. You don't need to be an employee to get employee-level vision coverage. Visit VSPDirect.com today. That's VSPDirect.com.
And now let's get on to the big game. The Clippers versus the defending champion Lakers. And again, they played each other last year, first game of the season. They played each other first game of the bubble, playing each other first game now. And we all should have expected this once Kawhi Leonard and Anthony Davis went their respective LA teams, and Paul George. I can't leave out Paul George there. But this is going to be a good one too, and I am personally excited for this one. This one tips off at 10 p.m. Eastern. The Clippers are 2.5-point underdogs, and the over/under is 222. So a lot. They predict about a 9.5 point or 9.5 less points in this one. The big news that we have is on the Clippers side, Marcus Morris will not be playing in this one. So we will have some value there without Marcus Morris playing. And on the Lakers, as of now, there are no updates for me to tell you about. But let's start off with the two big guys on the Clippers, who are the quote-unquote away team, even though it is they're all Staples Center here. We have Kawhi Leonard at 9,100 and Paul George at 7,800, a very suppressed value for him. After that bubble performance. So are you looking at these two guys and which one would you prefer in this matchup?
Yeah, it's tough with the Clippers, man. I think they've left a bad taste in everyone's mouth here. Everyone picked them to win the championship last year. The guys go to the bubble up 3-1 on Denver, end up losing the series, and then all the turmoil in the locker room. Doc Rivers leaves and they lose Montrezl Harrell to the locker room across the hall, So So it's tough, man. You know, you got Kawhi Leonard at 9,100. Typically, I like Kawhi in these big games against LeBron and these other big teams, but first game out, man, I'm a little afraid of him at 9,100. I just gotta. He's one of the guys I gotta see it with him. Typically, he comes to play against LeBron and these other bigger names, and I would like him here. But with so many other studs on the slate, he's probably last on the list, especially behind the three guys that we talked about. If I'm going to pick one of these guys, I got to go with Paul George. A little cheaper at 7,800. I think that's a much fairer price. I think Paul George as well had a lot of criticism this offseason. The guy's been on every radio show talking talking a lot. Should probably be quiet and let us play to the talking. But I think he's motivated here. I think 7,800 again is a fair price. If I'm going to play someone here on the Clipper side between those two big guys, I'm going to go with Paul George at 7,800.
Yeah, and I'm going to follow suit there. Not that Kawhi Leonard is bad or ever a bad choice. He pretty much scored nearly 30 points or more every game against the Lakers in their 4 matchups. But on a slate like this that is star-studded, if I can find a little bit of value, that's where I tend to go. And Paul George, speaking of scoring 30 points against the Lakers, outside of that Christmas Day matchup, which was the first time he played them, and he was barely getting back into the groove there. He just kind of got healthy. He scored 31 and 30 points respectively against the Lakers in their last 2 meetings, closer to when he was getting closer to full health. So I think there's a lot of value to be found there with Paul George at 7,800. He's out of all the stars, he's the cheapest one that you can find, and he's almost close to Andrew Wiggins is only 800 less than him, so it's very close there. So yeah, I like me some Paul George here, so I can still get exposure to at least 2 other stars there, and not have to have too many scrubs. But Paul George, if everything that they're saying about him and the way he's carrying himself and his demeanor, he looks over that dreadful bubble experience, and he looks like he's going to be back to the Paul George that we remember.
Yeah.
But outside of him, man, can you play anybody else? Do you like Lou Williams, Ibaka? With the Marcus Morris news, that means that one of Nicholas Batum or maybe even Luke Kennard, one of those two should enter the starting lineups, and they're fairly cheap. But do you have any interest in any of these other guys out there?
Yeah, so Nicholas Batum has been starting in these preseason games with Marcus Morris being out, but me being from Charlotte, and the Nicholas Batum experience that he had here, man, I can't play this guy, man. Even at 4,100, there's no way I can get this man in my lineup. Now, I don't totally blame him, man. I can't be mad at him for taking $125 million. But we just shouldn't have looked to him. But anyway, at 4,100, that's probably not somewhere I'm looking. But at 3,600, I do like Luke Kennard, especially if he gets a start here. I'm not sure that he will, but even if he doesn't, I really like his price at $3,600. He got his big payday. 4 years, $64 million from the Clippers here. So I think that tells us that, they kind of like him and they like what he can do. So I expect him to be a big help off that bench. They lose Harrell. So he and Lou Williams will be carrying that second unit. And Kennard is a good player, man. In Detroit, he put up some good numbers. He's in Detroit and they're a bad team, so you probably didn't see much of him. But he was a staple for me in DFS last year. So at 3,600, if he's going to get extended minutes with Morris out, I really like him as a value play tonight.
Yeah, and those are the 2 guys that I circled here, Kennard and Batum. One of them is going to start, probably Batum, but I like both of them, and I think Kennard, just like I mentioned with Joe Harris, I think Kennard plays well with these 2 stars and Lou Williams and Ibaka. He can shoot and he can create on the dribble, and he's a pretty solid facilitator and ball handler. But at 3,600, just like I said with Pascal, they're pretty much asking you to play him, and he should see extra minutes with Marcus Morris. That means the entire rotation bumps down a little bit, and everybody gets a couple extra minutes here and there. But yeah, I like both of those 2 guys when on a slate that you definitely need to find some value because you can't not play some of these stars. those are two options for me that I really like. And another thing that I think was pretty funny that I wanted to throw, or two things. We got Ibaka going against Marc Gasol, the starting center spots, and both of them were just teammates for the last couple of years. So that's going to be interesting to see how they match up. And one thing that I was noticing earlier when I was looking at lineups, and I forgot to say it when we said Paul George, he only has shooting guard eligibility on this. He's been a small forward his entire career, and now he's just listed as a shooting guard. So interesting nugget right there.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's surprising there. I noticed they did the same thing in the bubble. They had Paul George, the small forward, listed as a shooting guard. But hey, wherever they have him, I guess is where we have to play him.
Exactly, and then I get it because they've been playing Morris at the 4 and they're playing Kawhi at the 3 and him at the 2 and just going a little bigger. But he's a small forward at heart, so it was really weird to see that one.
Yeah.
But before we get on to the Lakers and this last team, I do want to stop this, and I gotta stop this announcement because there's not that much time left for it. But we need to stop this for a free announcement, and it's free stuff, and everybody loves free stuff. What's that stuff, you ask? And the stuff is the Bruise Letter is back. Oh, yes, guys. Back and fresh for the 2020-2021 NBA season. And this is our founder, Aaron Bruski, is writing an email newsletter filled with his most intimate fantasy nuggets. It's exclusive content you cannot find anywhere else, too. It's not on the website. It's not in any podcast. It's not on social media. And it's only in this email newsletter. And guess what? You can sign up to get it for free. Just go to bit.ly/bruiseletter 2021 and sign up in 10 seconds. Again, the site is bit.ly/bruiseletter 2021, and Aaron Bruski comes straight to your inbox, guys. Enjoy it. One more thing, the Fantasy Pass. So here's the thing. Hoopball is a great website. We all love the content, and we all love that it exists, but Hoopball needs to keep the lights on. So for a few weeks every year, we sell stuff. This year, the best deal in fantasy is here at Hoopball, and it's called the Fantasy Pass. It's just $4.99 a month and gets you the entire draft guide, the Brewski 150, our DFS pass, and an all-in-season fantasy tools. That's nuts, right? And it's just for $4.99, you get all that stuff. So cook yourself dinner tonight inside instead of ordering delivery, and you can afford the Fantasy Pass for a half a year. So please do check it out. Head to hoopball-.com. and click on the Fantasy Pass ad just below the main media wall. And if you guys are into just DFS, for a staggering $1.99 a month, you can get all that we offer for DFS. That's all our layup lines, multiple articles a night, everything we do on Discord, up to the minute, and right up until lineup locks plays, and you can interact with everybody. And always listen to these podcasts. These are everywhere podcasts can be found. And we got some other stuff coming in, but we'll get to that a little bit later. Right now, let's get on to the defending champion Los Angeles Lakers. And can't start anything without the Lakers without mentioning Anthony Davis and LeBron James at 10,000 and 9,600 respectively. AD is the highest guy on this slate, and LeBron James is number 3. So can you play both? It's very hard to play both these guys with all the studs on the other teams here. But if you're leaning one, it could be positional eligibility, or it could just be who you like better. Where would you lean in these two guys? And if you don't play them, who else do you like?
Yeah, that's tough, man. I most of the time when these guys see the floor, you gotta like them. Anthony Davis and LeBron James. So much of the usage goes through these guys on the Lakers. 10,000 for Anthony Davis, 9,600 for LeBron James. Typically, you're not worried about them paying off those prices. First game of the season, Lakers had the shortest off season of anyone in NBA history. LeBron's not a guy to rest. He's not a guy to take it easy. The guy shows up and plays whenever he can. You've heard him talk about, similar to MJ, to Michael Jordan, saying, hey, I don't know, even though we don't have fans here, but hey, it may be the first time that somebody watches him on TV and he wants to give him a good show. I do think, though, on opening night, LeBron James at 9,600, Anthony Davis at 10,000 are a little bit too expensive for us to play based on the other options that we have. If I do have to pick one, I'm probably going with Anthony Davis, simply because the way Anthony Davis murdered these Clippers last year, they have no one that can even remotely come close to stopping this guy. They even lost Harrell, who's now on Anthony Davis's team. Anthony Davis can just have a field day, scoring any way he wants. The guy's shooting threes. He's a lock for a double-double. Should have been Defensive Player of the Year last year, in my opinion. Block shots, steals, gives you stats all across the board, man. Anthony Davis at 10,000, even though I think he's a little expensive, I wouldn't be mad at all if anyone decided to play him tonight.
Yeah, and I'm with you. I think LeBron James, we're hearing about early season rest and all that, but this game and maybe Christmas, but especially this game because it is the Clippers, he's going to be playing, and he's going to be playing 30 minutes. I can see that. Same with Anthony Davis. I know just fresh off the long championship run, but this is not just any ordinary opening day game. This is against the guys that they've had a grudge against ever since last summer, and it's just been Clippers, Lakers, Clippers, Lakers, Clippers, Lakers. So I see both of them playing a pretty good amount of minutes and doing pretty well. But you hit it there for me. I'm going Anthony Davis in this one simply because even with Marcus Morris, he can feast. But especially without him, who's going to step up and guard him? If you put Kawhi Leonard on him, he's too small. If you put Nicholas Batum on him, good luck. I mean, Serge Ibaka might be able to guard him, but then they might have to do a Ibaka Zubac type of matchup right there. It's going to be very hard to try and guard Anthony Davis and big body Marc Gasol there, because if you put someone small on Marc Gasol, he's massive, and he's too foundationally sound to have a small guy in him. So I'm with Anthony Davis here. I think he's going to feast. It's just a matter of is he going to play 36 or is he going to play 30? But I'm fine with throwing Anthony Davis in there at 10K. LeBron James, I think, is going to have a good game, but not as high of a ceiling in this first one with all these other options, as you mentioned. But outside these two guys who get funneled the usage, where do you see the rest of these guys here? We have Schroeder, the new addition in Schroeder at 5,800. We have Kyle Kuzma, 55. Two more new additions. We have Hero facing his former team where he shocked everybody and spurned them to go across the hall, as you mentioned, at 53. Then we have Marc Gasol, 47. And then the other guys like Caldwell Pope, very cheap at 42. Any of these guys that you can consider playing?
Yeah, I think several of these guys you consider. I think you can consider Schroeder at 5,800. He's their scoring punch off the bench, man. When LeBron goes to the bench, I think he's going to be called on to run the show. We saw what Rondo was able to do last year when he came in and LeBron sat. Schroeder's a little bit better scorer than Rondo at this point in his career. So I like Schroeder's potential here in this matchup at 5,800. He played well last year at OKC in the same role coming off the bench, being an explosive scorer. And at 5,800, was a decent price for him last year. And I can see that being the same for him this year. Also got to look at, probably not going to look at Caldwell Pope, 4,200. He could pay it off, but his ceiling just not there for me. So probably not somebody I'll be looking at. I do kind of like Harrell at 5,300. Pretty good price for him. I think he plays decent minutes here. He strikes me as a guy that could have a grudge, man. Could bring a grudge into this matchup. Super energy guy. Love the way he plays. Plays with a lot of heart, a lot of energy. I think this is a matchup that he could play very well in, and he'll be highly motivated for. So I think he can be an option at 5,300. Other than that, I don't like Kuzma at 55. I think he's a little expensive at 55. Played well in the preseason, but he was getting a little excessive usage there. I don't think he'll have that same usage going into the regular season as Bron and AD start to ramp up their minutes. But if I go all the way down, man, we got the preseason superstar at Taylor Horton Tucker is only 3,500. Only 3,500. Now I don't expect these monster games, these monster minutes that we saw in the preseason. but I do think that he's earned a 20 to 25-minute role on that 3,500. That's more than enough to be able to pay off that price tag.
I feel you. And yeah, I like a couple of the guys you mentioned, but I do think that Schroeder's going to get the start in the opening day start. I don't think he'll necessarily come off the bench, but either way, I think he's going to be. When LeBron James sits, he's still going to be on the court running the show out there, and he's going to get a lot of minutes with them off and on. But I think he starts, and I don't mind looking at him at 5,800. But I do think we have some decent value outside of him if you don't go, or if we can find some people cheaper. You mentioned Harrell, 5,300. I really like this price tag for him, and in this game especially, it's just kind of setting up for him. He's going to be probably I assume Ibaka is going to get the start over Zubats, and he's going to go up against a guy that was starting over him last year, and I don't know if they particularly got along, and it's just going to be a fun matchup there, and not just him in that one-on-one match, but he's going against his team that did not know he was leaving, and he's going to want to ball out in this game especially. I think he's going to get a lot of options, a lot of time on the court. Marc Gasol, as good as sound as he is up there in age, so I don't know if they're going to extend him too much in this first game. So I see Hero playing both the 4 and 5 and getting pretty good run for 5,300. So I like him here to bring, like you mentioned, a ton of energy into this game and just going all out against his former team and showing them that he made the right decision. Outside of him, I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can go into the Talen Horton-Tucker pool right just yet for this game especially, because I don't know how tight the rotation is going to be. But I can't knock anybody, as Mike would say. I can't knock you for it if you wanted to go 3,500 for him. Again, super cheap, and he can score the basketball. So if he can see 15 to 16, 17 minutes in this one, he might get you 14 actual points and then some stuff on the side there. So he has that ability. Outside of him, maybe Caldwell Pope if I'm fishing, but I think there are better options that we mentioned earlier, like Kennard, Pascal, who are even cheaper than him. So for me, it's Hero for the most part, outside the two big guys, and a little bit of Horton-Tucker. If I can give you that one.
Gotcha.
Awesome. So we did it here. Is there anything else you wanted to throw out there that we didn't get to?
No, man. I think this is going to be a fun slate. I will say, with only a 2-game slate, you could see, a lot of duplicated lineups here, guys. So, in tournaments, don't be afraid to leave a little bit of money on the table. Typically in NBA, we want to try to use up all our salary, as every dollar makes a difference and is important in NBA. But on these 2-game slates, don't be afraid to leave a little bit of salary on the table just to differentiate yourself a little bit.
Yeah, I like it. And especially in this first game here. And before we go, I'm going to throw a curveball at you. I did not tell Brian that I was going to do this. I just thought of it on the spot. But we did this a lot of times last year. So I'm going to ask you, on this slate, who is your favorite play of the night? I know I'm putting you on the spot. I'll give you a second. I'm going to ramble on here so you can think about it. It could be just because you think they're going to have a dominant performance. It could be positional eligibility. It could be price tag and value. But who is a guy that you keep looking at and you find yourself putting in your lineup every time because he's there for you?
Yeah, I got to go with Steph Curry here, man. Steph Curry. Woo! At 9,300, I think he's a lock for 35 minutes. I think his team needs him more than any other team on the slate. Former MVP, the guy looks 100% healthy. We know how quickly this guy can heat up and get points in a hurry. The highest total on the slate. I love Steph Curry at 9,300. Easily the best play on the slate tonight.
I like it. And that's saying it there. That gives you all you need to know for the Steph Curry one, that you like him more than any of these big guys on a 2-game slate packed with stars in this league. We're going with the the chef right there, and I like it. For me, I like to do more value. So we just talked about him last. I think I'm going to find myself playing Montrezl Harrell in pretty much every lineup. There's not too many of these big guys that I'm looking at that strike me as very good value. But except for him, he's only 5,300, and I gotta be able to see him play 30 minutes against his former team in this one, and I think it's a pretty good matchup for him. So I think I'm going to find myself playing. I think Harrell's the guy that I'm going to be playing a lot more than other people on the slate.
I love it. Great call.
All right, man. So this was the first one of the season. It was 2-game slate. We went a little longer than we thought, but we have to touch pretty much on everybody when you have a 2-game slate because everybody's in play here for the most part. But yeah, so that's it. That's it for the first day of Hoopball DFS and the regular season. We were doing preseason, but now this is the regular season, and I'm stoked for it to be back. Any bold predictions for any of these 2 games before we head on out of here?
I think we covered it all, man. I love both these games. I expect both these games to be super exciting. A lot of fireworks. I hope we get a couple close ones. I'm just excited to have basketball back.
Yeah, and I'm with you. It's going to be a fun one. And on behalf of myself and Brian, you can find me on Twitter at Santino Caccone. You can find Brian on Twitter at Foster. Is that the underscore?
Yep, Foster underscore BSE.
I always get those mixed up. Foster underscore BSE. On behalf of both of us, thank you guys for tuning in. We will have more for you tomorrow. Brian is also doing the layup line, so if you want a chance, if you like reading more than listening, or you have an easier time reading, Brian's going to be highlighting a few nice plays out there. I'm sure the chef's going to be on it, but he's going to be highlighting a few plays there for you guys as well. Thank you guys for joining, and I can't wait to be with you guys for this season. It's going to be a fun one, a condensed 72-game season. Let's get right back into it after 70 days of the off season, guys. Let's do it. But thank you guys for joining, and we will catch you tomorrow. I believe tomorrow is it should be Mike and myself. Okay. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
This has been a Hoop Ball presentation.
Still paying hundreds of dollars for prescription glasses? Let's change that. At Zenni.com, our factory direct model means no middlemen or outrageous markups. Just the same quality frames and lens options as the other guys for 1/10 the price. Zenni offers prescription glasses starting at $6.95, as well as affordable sunglasses, blue blockers, and more. The best part? Try any frame, anywhere, with our 3D virtual try-on. Visit Zenni.com today and change the way you buy glasses forever.
Who are you texting?
My therapist.
You text with your therapist?
Text, video chat, call. Yep.
That sounds too easy. How did you find her?
I just went to betterhelp.com/save. She's a licensed therapist and it's all online. I connect when it's convenient for me and don't waste time driving anywhere. Plus, it's affordable.
I wonder if I should try it.
It's great to talk to someone in confidence. She's helped me sort out quite a few things. And right now you save 10% off the first month when you go through betterhelp.com/save.
Betterhelp.com/save. Got it.